This is a public announcement. There is nothing wrong with your broadcast. Please allow us to redirect your audio. You are about to tune into the middle class dropouts. Enjoy. This is a public announcement. There is nothing wrong with your broadcast. Please allow us to redirect your.
Welcome back, guys, to the Middle Class Dropouts.
Welcome.
Vinny, another beautiful Tuesday.
Welcome, my dropouts.
Right? Welcome back. So we got a lot to go over today.
Yes.
A lot of important information regarding interest rates, bonds, cryptos, housing market situation. So we're just going to get right into it, Vinny. What do you want to start off with?
Well, let's start off with cryptos.
Okay, so let's do some crypto talk.
So what are your thoughts right now with Bitcoin not breaking above 60,000 and trading around, obviously the big chart shows it.
You ever seen a firework light up? No, I think honestly, dude, I think it needed that consolidation.
Yeah.
I think it might even hit the low 50,000. But I think when it does hit 50,000, you're gonna see that price go above 60K.
Oh,
for sure. I think that's what's gonna happen. I think it's a lot of big players selling like F2 pools and stuff like that. The big China wallets dumping a lot of their gains.
Right.
So yeah, I think, bro. I mean, if I have 14,000 Bitcoin, and you made a shit ton of money, I mean, why wouldn't you want to pull some profits? I just think that when they do it, they move that price. I think who was it that came out and Bank of America, I think, said it takes $98 million to move Bitcoin 1%. So I mean, if you have that type of Bitcoin to be moving, it's gonna, you're gonna start moving that price.
Right. I agree with you.
But I do think it's a good buying opportunity for Cardano. Cardano's sitting at what, 120, I believe, or is it below $1.20?
Cardano, let's see where you're at. Cardano's
it's at 113.
Yeah, I think that's a buying opportunity.
Yeah, see, I think that's a buying opportunity also.
Look at the throw over right here. Sus.
Yeah. But look how crazy that bear market is, bro. I mean, it just completely like bottom of the barrel, and nobody wants to even touch these coins.
Oh, of course,
and
right
then
here.
And then that bull run gets going, and look at that, dude. It's like a freaking ladder.
Yeah, and it already passes all-time high of 86 cents, and now we're looking at $1.13.
Yeah. So I think Cardano's another buy. I like these little consolidations, bro, because it lets you really see who's really in and who's not, I think a lot of when it does consolidate, a lot of people are either moving into, like from Bitcoin, I think a lot of people they buy in the altcoins that are super cheap, the altcoins trend, and then they pull profits and then they take them. Because the end game was the end game, getting Bitcoin, right? So then it would be, hey, I'm going to use these little coins to get me to buy Bitcoin. Because I think in 5-10 years, bro, if you hold even a percentage of Bitcoin, you're gonna be doing well.
That's my leapfrog theory. Where
let's know about that leapfroggy.
So if you were to buy, for an example, last year some Dogecoin, where's Dogecoin?
There, year 17.
So, or at least 2 years ago, right? But let's just go a year ago, and you would have put, I don't know, what, $4,000?
Yeah, say
$5,000, right? And this time last year, September 16th, compared to Bitcoin last year, what date was that? September 16th?
September 16th, 2020. No. Yeah, 2020.
Sorry for that.
Nah, no worries.
Anyways, we're looking at
10
grand. So if you would have just bought $5,000 of Dodge compared to $5,000 of Bitcoin, yeah, of course, 3x itself? 4x? 5, right?
Because if it's 60, yeah.
And Dogecoin was what? What did Dogecoin do?
Oh, I think Dogecoin like 100x for sure. Dogecoin did some silly stuff, bro.
Point is, you could have made way more money if you would have sold your Dodge at the high of 8 cents. If you would have bought it a year ago at a fraction of half a cent.
Yeah. And
that would have been a massive return where you could have bought Bitcoin with your $5,000 Dodge at 30, 40,000, and maybe bought 2 of them.
Yeah.
Who knows how much of Dodge you would have got? But the point is that if you could leapfrog and then buy Bitcoin, that's a huge advantage. You just need to know which stocks can get you to that leapfrog motion. I believe, I think you would say the same, that Cardano is one of those instruments to use as a leapfrog. If you are patient enough, you know,
Yeah.
Cardano is fairly new, but its only competitor that really has a huge market cap is Ethereum. Maybe Polkadot, but I think
I would still go Cardano.
I will still go Cardano 100%.
Definitely.
And Cardano, it's a long-term hold. Yes, it's
Charles
not.
Hopkins.
Yeah, we don't want to emphasize Cardano when it's at like $500. That's the first time we speak about it.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, buy Cardano. You know, it's like buy it when it's cheap. Learn how to be patient, how to hold. We're not financial advisors, but this is what we're doing. And any pullback like this I believe is super healthy, and it's just another leg up. I don't see us spending less money in in the physical economy. They're going to just print out more stimulus checks for people in need. And today it's kind of funny that today they had the testimony with Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen, and they were talking about how they need payments to go faster, and they brought up the topics of cryptocurrencies and the Federal Reserve coming out with its own digital currency. And they already said that they want it to be transparent. They want to know where the money's coming from. So they don't want to be a traditional Bitcoin cryptocurrency. They want to know where you're sending your money, where you're buying. So they have full control. That's kind of scary.
Yeah. It's the dollar 2.0.
Yeah.
In a sense, they just want to control it.
And then you have other people in I believe Congress saying that, they're going to be watching the dollar because they are aware of what physical policy can do to the U.S. dollar. And that could put us in a disadvantage in the bigger scheme of things, like if we're going up against China in our economic war. If China's currency strengthens and the dollar falls, that's a huge advantage for China, because then they could buy more of our goods and services, or our property rights and everything else, intellectual property theft and all that good stuff that they do.
Hey,
But
I got a question to ask you.
that's
Vinny.
just how they were. Yeah,
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Regarding bonds, can other nations buy bonds off the U.S.?
Of course.
So it's not just U.S.
No.
So anybody could buy those bonds.
Yes, but nobody wants bonds right now. The biggest holder of bonds is the Federal Reserve, and so essentially they're the ones financing our deficits, and so we're printing our own money, and so we are in a hyperinflation mode, but we have so many deflationary pressures where if the U.S. government oversteps its boundaries, or the Federal Reserve decides to change its Federal Reserve Act and now buy actual equities, stocks, bond, like legit buy them right out, not go through other avenues like BlackRock or whatnot, then of course that would destroy our currency.
Yeah, as we know it.
Forever.
And then they're gonna roll out the digi dollar. I'm saying they're gonna call it digi dollar, bro. Like Digimon. Yeah,
funny.
no, but that it was just a question I was asking you. But yeah, I think also, bro, that the crypto. I saw that Roman Powell said that he doesn't believe that cryptocurrency is a threat to the U.S. dollar.
He says they're not a good.
That's what he said, right?
Okay,
so to me, it's like, I mean, if you look at that market cap, bro, and you hear and you see everybody going crazy, I mean, why would you what was his theory behind that, bro? Like, does he not think that the dollar's gonna tank one day?
I feel like if he says one thing, he means the other.
Oh, he's playing that game.
I think that's what they're playing, because they can't control $1 trillion market cap.
Yeah.
And tell everybody, no, you can't do this. It's like, what are you talking about? First of all, you're talking to the wrong crowd, because Americans, in their mind, in their psyche, believe they're free and they could do whatever they want. And if they see that, the writings on the wall that our government has officially abandoned us, because I think they have. Not that I want more government. It's just the way they're putting out their policies only benefits select few people, and not really those that get the stimulus. Now, you might think, okay, well, stimulus are there to cushion the blow of this financial crisis or pandemic. It is true, but that's only if our economy was in a thriving economy, if more people had savings and they had job security, and then the pandemic came in, and then we could spend because we have the taxes to do it with. We don't have any of that, and so I do believe that most Americans are going to have a rude awakening in the next year or two, when they see their purchasing power go down and the value and the prices of their goods and services go up. And so they are afraid that the confidence in the US dollar is going to erode. And I think Bitcoin will be that pin. That's what Matt Kaiser thinks too, that Bitcoin is a pin to the US dollar bubble or to the bond market bubble. Because interest rates are at all-time low still, even though they're going up, but they're still low. So you're really not getting a return from a 10-year treasury or a 20-year treasury, so, or 30. But of course, as interest rates rise, that will give more pressure on the stock market, because then maybe investors might think, okay, well, the 20 years at 3-4%, the 10 years at 2.5%. Well, then that makes I get my return of 2.5 every year. I'd rather buy that. That's a guaranteed return. Yeah. Which would, put pressure. So there's so much stuff going on, but if they can't control inflation and they're talking about raising taxes after diluting your dollar, people are going to run to safe haven assets like gold, like Bitcoin, to find a place where their money is treated best. Yeah. And that's all that comes down to. The government wants to tax you through inflation, and on top of that, impose taxes on corporations, which are only going to pass down the price to the consumers. So it's a double whammy in our world, right? Not in the rich world, the super rich world, because they don't care. That to them,
they can afford it.
They could easily afford it, and not blink an eye or two. Yeah. For the average American, the average middle class dropout, can't afford a diluting dollar plus taxes being imposed on them. So it's going to be an inflationary environment we're heading into, which Bitcoin and gold will do well. Some equities will do very well, but that all depends on how you structure that too. So
and to allude to that, I think, like, for me, I don't know if Bitcoin is the future. I don't know if gold is, but what I do know, it's not the dollar. You know what I'm saying? I think, like, anything at this point, either crypto or commodities, I think is better than where the dollar's going, right? So in my mind, I'd rather take the chance with crypto, gold, any other source of digital currency at this point, because I know for sure the dollar's it's not the answer, So that's what I think, bro. And quite frankly, just because I myself, I'm big on cryptos and stuff, like, I think that's where the future's going, because everything's going to be digitalized, right? I mean, even now, because of COVID, I think that got fast forwarded 10 years, right? Because now, even when you go to stores, hey, we don't have the exact change. Use a debit card. You know what I'm saying? I think they're trying to reduce that hand-to-hand interaction. I think a lot of more people became germaphobes. So to me, it's like, I think it would be the only right thing to do that. Now, how do you tax Bitcoin? How do you tax a cryptocurrency that's not regulated, and then the government still feels like they have power, right? So how do you come about, hey, if you do a Bitcoin transaction, because they're going to want to tax that some way, right? How does that come about? I don't know. I don't have that answer.
Yeah, I don't know either. But they do. The IRS does classify Bitcoin as property. So I think property they tax it twice a year. So if that's the case and you get taxed, once or twice a year with Bitcoin, you just have to report it, right? It's property taxes. That's what they classify at the IRS. So, I'm sure.
Do you think a lot of Americans would be happy with that?
Of being taxed?
No, like property taxes.
I don't know. That's a good question. I think so, because look, Bitcoin, it's in its own world. So no matter what tax you decide to, put on Bitcoin, people are going to find the way around it, because you don't have to pay those taxes, right? You don't have to report it. Of course, a law-abiding citizen would or not. I don't know.
But then a lot of people, don't mean to cut you off, man. A lot of people buy cryptocurrencies with tax dollars already, right? They buy it with their tax money from their checks. So a lot of people would be pissed, like, I already paid taxes on my $1,000. If I want to drop those $750 on Bitcoin, how are you going to double tax me? I can see that, because that is already tax dollars. Right. Same as capital gains and all that. That's already, unless it's company money, right? I would get pissed on that. Like, yeah, I already paid my taxes to the dollar. So if I want to take my money and gamble in a sense, right? I mean, but at the end of the day, they still tax you. You go to the casino, you win $5,000. They're gonna send you your taxable form. So yeah, I guess I don't know. It's a tricky question. I certainly don't have the answer for it.
No, but it's all on the confidence in the dollar and what people see. And I still believe a lot of people don't understand the value of holding cryptocurrencies, or diving into the world of cryptocurrencies, because it could open up a lot of new entrepreneurs. There's so many ways to make a lot of money in the crypto world, and if they impose a property tax on all cryptos, well, then I think that's much better than getting, I don't know, putting a sales tax,
I think so too,
a purchase tax. So I think it'd be a good opportunity for people to look into the space, not be discouraged that you don't know enough. I mean, there is so much information out there. If you just spend the time, 10 minutes of your day, 20 minutes of your day, every day, to learn what other people are saying, kind of use critical thinking when you're listening to people, because some of them could be bullshitting you and to just buying this quick pump and dump coin. And a lot of people fall for it. I've been a sucker in the past to fall for it, and I'm not afraid to admit it, but you learn. And so as you learn, you continue to grow this foundation to where you feel more comfortable putting your money into work, into making bigger profits, and it's that simple. It's just having the open mind to be wrong.
And a lot of these coins, bro, what I've learned over the years, I say years because we've been in this space 3 years. I mean, not actively, but we've known about it. I've seen that a lot of the coins that are the newer ones, the hard to get ones, those are the ones where you can make most of your money from, because then when they do hit the popular exchanges, like your Coinbase, your cryptos, your Krakens, they get dumped on. I mean, it's sad, but a lot of these people that have been holding the coin since the get-go, they're ready to pull profits, right? Because of what? Your leapfrog theory. Because as soon as you can make money, you're going to dump it onto Bitcoin. So you get into these coins early, you do your research, you like the coin, you write it out, don't pull your profits. Once it hits these major exchanges, you do your thing, pull your profits, then go and move on to Bitcoin or more secure assets that are in the long run aren't gonna, like Dogecoin, bro. Let's be honest, Dogecoin's a meme coin, right? 3 years ago, I never thought it would hit a penny, right? But then you get Elon Musk coming out and tweeting about it, and you get it trending on TikTok, and then you get all the millennials, the younger millennials, thinking it's cool to buy it. Well, yeah, that sucker pumped up to 8 cents. Right. Is it gonna go past that? Maybe. You need a shit ton of market cap in that. But there's a lot of coins that are gonna do that. There's gonna be a lot of coins that you come across in your research. You're gonna get a lot of YouTubers pumping and dumping coins, because what happens is, if me and Ventura create a coin and we want to get exposure, you go after those big whales on YouTube. You tell them, hey, we've raised X amount of money, we'll give you a percentage. Let's talk about it. These dudes probably don't even believe in your coin, but a $10,000 check every month probably sounds good to them, right? So they're gonna promote it, they're gonna talk about it, they're gonna shoot it to their 50,000 subscribers, and now these 50,000 subscribers put in whatever they have, and now that coin 10x's. And what do the devs and the YouTubers do? They cash out, and they never mention that coin again. And then I've seen it, and then all those comments go wild. Hey, what about this coin? How come you don't talk about this coin no more? Because they pumped and dumped on your ass. That's why. So do your research. You don't. If somebody's talking about it like that, I tend to go to the lower subscriber YouTube channels where these dudes are doing legit research and finding these coins, than somebody that has, like that one dude I sent you. I don't want to say his name, but right, he has so many subscribers that he can get $100,000 check and not give a crap. He's still making his money.
100%.
He doesn't have a reputation to break at this point. He doesn't care.
Right.
So do your research like that. Don't go across these big time YouTubers that just trying to dump on your ass. So definitely do your due diligence, research. We're not financial advisors. We do our own research. We find coins. We talk about them. We're wrong, I mean, we invest in shit that can go wrong, but we know where we stand. It's not like, hey, Vinny, I told my girl I'm gonna get all our savings and dump it on this shit. No, don't do that. If you have extra money from your stimulus, if you have extra money in the end of the week, invest it and do your research.
Or if you want to use, like, your inheritance from your grandparents' death from COVID, you could definitely put it on coin.
That's
you could put it on Bitcoin and
hey, maybe he left you a fucking money bag.
He left you a fortune. You
wouldn't even know.
You fucking have money to put it on something.
And the only reason I'm big on crypto, because when I started investing, I'm sure you started investing in stocks first, so that should go to butter.
No, Bitcoin. I mean, cryptos were first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But see,
Cryptos
it's something
were
like,
first.
then it hit the the bear market, and you gravitated towards stocks a lot. I'm kind of like the opposite. I'm more towards crypto, and then I do invest in stocks.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I don't know. It's more enticing. Those you have your two investors, your slow and gainers, or your fucking top risky. I think I'm that top like risky. Fuck it, I'm gonna throw it in there, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, which I need to change that a little bit. I think I need to be more 50-50.
How 50-50?
Like make money in crypto, pull some of that money, and then go get some stocks. Go invest like in a mutual fund or something. Set up a retirement. I don't know, 401k, Roth IRA. Something like that, where you're investing into these mutual funds or index funds, S&P 500s, where they're gonna long term grow with the compound interest. I think that's what I for myself need to start doing more. But I think I'm just so committed to crypto because it is a boom. It is a bull market, and I know the bear market's gonna come, and maybe then I'll shift over to stocks.
Do you think we're in the midst of a bear market, or do you think how long is this bull market for Bitcoin going higher in price? How long do you think that's gonna last from
I think it's
today forward?
It's hard to say this year, bro, because if you look back at the other Bitcoin bull runs, they kind of trend for like a year, 2 months, and then they bear market for 2-3 years, and then it halves, and then it's the same shit. But this year, I think it's different because of the institutions buying in. I don't think they're gonna pull their money out if they're investing in this. If Bitcoin does drop 20%, I don't think they're gonna cut the profit. I mean, their losses. I think they're gonna hold it, and they're gonna create a new resistance point, right? If it hits an all-time high of 100,000, and in the bear market it hits a 40%, I mean, they're sitting at 50,000. That's still a lot of money on a Bitcoin. So I think it's gonna. I don't know. I honestly don't know because, like I said, this bull run's different, but I think it's gonna last a little bit longer. I think we're gonna go into next year. Maybe around summer, you're gonna see the alt season come in, where a shit ton of money is gonna get dumped into the altcoins, because this is what happens, right? You're gonna get a lot of people that are gonna start seeing these coins, and then they're gonna look at Bitcoin 60,000. Hey, I don't have 60,000. Oh, there's Cardano $1.50. Oh, there's Litecoin $200, and they're gonna influx a lot of money into these altcoins, and that's gonna shoot the off season. And when that happens, when all these altcoins start pumping, then I think then the bear markets will start creeping up. Then all these people are gonna pull profits, and we're gonna see a downtrend at that point.
Interesting.
That's what I think.
Interesting. I mean, I don't think you're wrong. To be honest, I don't. But I also think that most people want to hear confirmation on where the price of Bitcoin is going or where it's going next before they make a risky investment, like put their life savings or their grandpa's inheritance into something that they hardly know anything about. So yes, do your research. I mean, if we enter a bear market into Bitcoin, it's good to understand the technical analysis and to reading charts, which I don't yet. I mean, I'm learning it, but it's still, when I'm listening.
Can you scroll down a little bit?
Oh, yeah. When I'm listening to other people speak about charts and how they analyze it and read the candlesticks and the open green and the open reds and the filled green and filled red, which is things we will talk in the future about. It fascinates me because I think they could predict a movement as well as those who do the number crunches. When they look into a company and they look at the revenues or balance sheets, how much money they have in their treasury, how much they owe, what's the profit and loss, and all this other stuff that they crunch down to determine where this company is going. But I feel like if you read charts and you look at the technical analysis point of view, you could see more patterns form. And I think that's how you learn cryptocurrencies. It's reading patterns, because I mean, that's with everything, right? You want to read patterns, find a rhythm, etc. But when you're into the cryptos and you see the patterns form, it's kind of hard to not look into it a little more and educate yourself with those patterns. Especially when Bitcoin, it tells you how many Bitcoins were mined that day, how many are still out there, and how many
and who's buying them,
like it
and
tells
at what
you,
amount.
It tells you everything. So you find that pattern and then you make your money. which we will talk more in the future about. But it's fascinating, and yes, you can make money. Don't think that because the price is low that it's gonna fall forever. I follow guys like Peter Schiff, and I think he's wrong with Bitcoin, but I do like to hear his point of view on other things. But look at Bitcoin. Shit, if I would have bought gold, if I would have bought Bitcoin when I bought gold, I'd easily be up way more in my Bitcoin than I would have gold. But I bought, it's up.
And that's what I want to segue into, bro. That a lot of older, because you said this, when you're older, you become, you want to be safer, right? So
Not
I think
wiser.
Exactly. I think a lot of the baby boomers they turn down Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies because they are volatile, right? And us younger generation, we like to take risk, and because we're young, right? So like, fuck it, if it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, if you tell somebody that's 60 years old, hey, put half of your net worth into something, it's gonna scare them, right? So I think that's why they're very negative on understanding cryptos. But then there's those ones I've heard stories of somebody's grandma investing their Roth IRA into Bitcoin, and then they became millionaires.
Super cool.
So I've heard stories like that too. But I think that's where that I think a lot of that press and media negativity comes from. I think it's these older cats like, nah, it's too volatile for me, and that's understandable.
Right.
Yeah. If you buy a full Bitcoin. If you would have bought a full Bitcoin last week when it was at 62, you would have been, what, $5,000 down?
You'd be shitting it. You'd be like, oh my gosh, my investments are falling.
Right?
Oh my God.
But if you don't do the research, I'm like, nah, this is what Bitcoin does. It touches, it consolidates, it touches a resistance level, and then it jumps back to 10 grand. And then it does the same thing again. So, yeah, I think it is scary in a sense. But to me, it's like, yeah, when you invest into stocks, it's the same thing. They're a little bit more traditional. You don't expect them to be as volatile.
Yes.
But there's market crashes too also.
Yes.
So I think it's just a little bit of what you're more into. If you're slow gainer, or your risk level's higher. Like I said, I'm kind of like, I'm the dude that'll go to the casino. I have $100 to spend. I'll drop it on one machine and fuck it. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I know there's people that don't do that. So it just depends on your risk tolerance. But
how would you define someone's risk tolerance?
I think it's just how they view money. Right? Not to say that I don't like, to me it is, bro. Money comes and goes, right? It's the way you're able to facilitate it and see what it does for you that changes your mindset. But having money and not having money, I don't think it defines. To me, I guess it does make you happy in the sense that you don't have to worry about your bills and shit. But money's not gonna fulfill, say, a void that you have, right? So I think people that are more conservative with money are probably, hey, I've been in my lowest and now I have money. I do not want to go back to that.
Right.
Rather than somebody that never had money and then they're like, fuck it, money comes and goes. It's not going to do anything for me. I think that's what it is. Maybe that's where I come from too, I mean, it's not like I'm a millionaire, so I'm like, fuck it, it is what it is. But yeah, I think that the risk factor comes with a little bit of that and how you see, I guess, the world. Like I said, I'm always go big or go home. If it's going to hit, it's going to hit. If the chance is there, it's going to hit. But yeah.
So I want to bring this up. It's the Chinese renminbi with the US dollar, and so I think the bull market in Bitcoin in 2018 reflected the currency drop in the renminbi, the Chinese currency, because of course there are over 1 billion people, right? And so they could move their currency faster than or much lower, much more aggressive than the Americans can, right? And so right here we see the bull market in 2018, where the renminbi dropped down to about 6.4, so closed at 6.2, and as it dropped, Bitcoin went up to 18,000. And so as the renminbi continued to strengthen, we were in that bear market with Bitcoin, right? With the what's that you were explaining to me, the F2 pools or the
the mining pools around the world,
especially in China,
the big time players are in China. There's big old Bitcoin mining farms. I'm talking about big old warehouses full of mining rigs that are mining not most of them, but they hold a big percentage of the Bitcoin mined per day. So they can fluctuate that price if they decide to sell. And I think those pools, I know those pools are like, say you don't have a mining rig and
Right.
you want to invest, right? You would go to these pools and you would tell them, hey, I have $1,000. Mine it, working for me. So then these pools, they'll do these hashes and then they distribute to their partners holders, right? So but they have not the manpower, but the computer power to be mining these bitcoins daily. So and like when they were like, oh, Grayscale's buying 110% of the Bitcoin, that's not necessarily all of Bitcoin. No, they're buying 110% of Bitcoins per day. So I'll also say there's 100,000 Bitcoins mined a day, which there's not, because I don't even remember the real number, but they will be buying those $100,000, those $100,000 Bitcoins. That's kind of how those pools work.
That makes sense. And so my point with this is that I feel like this is an inverse relationship with Bitcoin. So the Chinese renminbi strengthened to last year, say 7.2, and now from last year around this time, Bitcoin also started going up in price, and so the Chinese renminbi strengthened as weakened. The Chinese renminbi weakened as Bitcoin went up, meaning that the currency fell in price compared to the U.S. dollar. And so here we see a month ago, the price of the renminbi at a low of 6.4 and Bitcoin's peak at almost 6,000 around this area, February, going up to 6,000, 50,000, 6,000, what I'm talking about. But the point is
It's
that
like a mirror. It's like a mirror image.
almost.
Bitcoin goes up, the renminbi goes down. Renminbi goes up, Bitcoin. Yeah, I can see that.
Only
you can
because
just see it in the graphs.
the huge players are in China, and they have the.
And you know what's crazy? The Chinese government doesn't like Bitcoin.
It doesn't, but they want to control it. When you don't like
Exactly.
something, you want to control it so that you have leverage against people.
But it's funny because then they're the ones that are mining them. I think it's like don't quote me on it, but I think they mine 14% of the world's.
Jeez.
I know Iceland has a big old mining rig, Switzerland too, but I think they mine 14% of all Bitcoins mined per day comes out of China.
So
which is a big player, bro.
If the U.S. falls in value, the U.S. dollar, the dollar index drops in value, and you have the Chinese yuan strengthen and Bitcoin tanks, that could be a huge issue to Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to give a honest perspective on the price and where it might be going, and see if we're entering a bull market or continuing with this. If we're entering a bear market or if we're continuing with this bull market. And so I believe that we could be entering a sustainable period of the prices going up with Bitcoin, because I do think the Chinese yuan will fall a little further as the dollar strengthens, because the dollar has been going up and interest rates in the U.S., especially in the bond market, have been going up, the yields. So if our government doesn't continue to print more physical dollars to stimulate the physical economy, we're gonna see the dollar strengthen. And if they do print and they continue to come out with packages, we could see a weak dollar and
like the infrastructure package they're gonna come out with.
Yeah, an infrastructure
14, what is
bill.
that, 4 trillion?
I don't even know.
I think it's 4 trillion. They're trying to print.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
I'm not gonna say they're trying to get. No, they're gonna print those 4 trillion.
Yeah, and the Federal Reserve is excited because they can monetize the debt and just, try to not allow inflation to get out of their hands, but it will get out of their hands. And so I think that if the dollar falls, the Chinese yuan will strengthen, and Bitcoin might fall if the dollar falls. Personally, now I could be wrong, because I don't know. I just could be wrong, but I don't know. It's interesting to me. I'm trying to analyze this in a broader perspective and trying to see, okay, if this makes sense, then what's the counter argument, right? And so I think I'm trying to pose a counter argument and for Bitcoin's prices to go higher. I want it to go higher. It'll boost all of cryptos to go higher, but we could see the alt season start as well, which is a good thing too. Which means that Bitcoin's time came, and reaching at 60,000 before, pulling back to 30-something thousand and forming that base before it goes to 200,000-300,000 by the end of the year. That's not a bad sign. That's a really good, healthy sign. For people that are buying Bitcoin at these high levels, don't be afraid. Like, just trust the process, right? You just got to trust the process. But yeah, look into it, understand, what else plays into the price of Bitcoin, and dive into it. It's exciting. It's fascinating.
And I think a lot too, bro, goes with what you're saying. I agree. I just think that if the dollar does fall, a lot of people that have those 50, 60K in the bank, if they see their money starting, you know what I'm saying, they might get scared, and they're gonna want to put it somewhere else, right?
Right.
Can it go into gold? Can it go into
Bitcoin?
It can go into Bitcoin. It can go into altcoins, right?
But who has more dollar denominated purchasing power, China or the U.S. economy? You know.
Yeah.
And if China sees it as like, okay, I don't need the dollar because it's cheap and my currency strengthening, which means that I could buy more goods and services with. That's, I mean, their currency could strengthen a lot higher than 7, right? It was a 7 something, 7 point, where was it? Yeah, 713. It could strengthen way past that, and the dollar fall. And so these Chinese investors would rather have Chinese renminbi and buy other things. You know, they could buy other things. Bitcoin is just Bitcoin. I mean, that doesn't stop the world.
Yeah.
It just, you know, it tries to find, the market will find its place, right? And right now, resources like commodities are hugely valuable, because China talked about how if the U.S. continues to impose sanctions on their businesses with the what is it called, the Belt and Road Initiative, and stops these businesses to continue, they could impose a stoppage into the rare earth minerals that we import from China. They could stop that, and now we have a crisis here, because most of those minerals are used to build our military weapons. So if we don't have those, you know, commodities, we're screwed. And so a lot of people are talking about how commodities are now going to enter into a secular bull market, because the U.S. now needs to buy its own, you know, domestic product of commodities, and or outsource to other nations that have it, and they could buy it from them at a bargain price.
I think a lot of these nations are going to become middlemen. Like Mexico's going to go buy from China, and then United States is going to buy from Mexico.
Very true.
And that's how they're going to get through like a little loophole, you know, but they're not going to be buying it how they used to. So yeah, I can see that happening, bro. And the thing is too, China's probably looking like, okay, you can keep poking me all you want, but I'm going to have to cut this shit one of these days. But yeah, I think that's crazy, bro. I think that something like that, I can see something like that happening. And where would the U.S. resource to? Like, what comes next? I mean,
we have to print the money to buy the stuff, so the U.S. dollar continues to fall. But again, this is just anecdote. I mean, of course, I've researched this, I've seen it, but I mean, has it played out? Not really yet.
Yeah, it's
but
our hypothesis.
If the time comes in a year or two, and we see what we continue to see with stimulus being sent out, and the U.S. rhetoric towards China gets more aggressive, we could see a scenario where the U.S. dollar does take a huge shit, and the people holding dollars as their savings are the ones that are going to get shitted on. You know,
Yeah.
You're going to get a bag of shit. So,
yeah, that's crazy, bro. Blows my mind.
But it's still good to look into Bitcoin and invest into Bitcoin, and not be afraid of being wrong. You know, it's okay to be wrong. You can't just have a conviction of, I'm going to be right no matter what, and the price of Bitcoin is going to go to 200,000, and so you buy a Bitcoin and it drops to 32,000, and you bought it at 55, and now you're crying because, like, oh my gosh, I could have just waited. Well, could you have, you know, with that mentality of not wanting to be wrong, could you have, you know, made a reasonable decision, rational decision? I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
But housing prices too, that's what I wanted to speak to you about. When the fuck are housing prices going to fall? Do you think there's an opportunity for the correction in the housing prices?
I don't know, dude. I think for me it's hard to say because of COVID, right? When COVID is over, then you're going to get a lot of these owners trying to evict their tenants that haven't been paying, or that because of COVID. I think that's going to create inrush of available houses to rent. But then say all these owners that have portfolio 5-10 houses, you know, maybe typical multimillionaire, you know, under 10 mil, they can't no longer pay it because their tenants can't pay. Then that's gonna force them to sell, right? So then that can drive the price down. Because I think the price is so high because of scarcity, especially here in LA, right? I mean, to find a house around the range that you want it, you're getting outbidded by a lot of other entities. So I think that's the reason here in LA, because that's where we're from. I think that, I don't know, it's to me it's kind of hard to say, bro. What do you think?
I'm not too sure. I do see that if interest rates continue to rise significantly and just stay higher and not come down, if we see the 15-year interest rates jump up to 4.4%, okay, then maybe maybe the housing market will start taking a shit. At least prices goes, but that would mean the 30-year would need to rise at least to 5%. But again, we're seeing interest rates like kind of peak up right here in this chart. That doesn't mean that it's going to peak up to a 3-year high, because that'll be a huge move, where the 15 does go to 4.2, and then the 30 is almost at 5. It's kind of hard to tell. I mean, if interest rates go up dramatically and our government doesn't do anything to stop it, the housing prices will fall, because interest rates will offset the price of the homes. I don't know by how much. At 1% goes up, I think like $10,000 of value of your home falls, the price of your home falls. So I don't know if that'll hold true, because I believe the last the people who refinance, I think there was a Meet Kevin on YouTube spoke about how the people who
I like Meet Kevin, bro. Smart cat.
Yeah, super smart guy.
With the housing.
He said that the people who refinanced their homes, the category of those who had good credit scores were those from 750 or 800 credit score range and higher. So that shows a healthy, consumer regarding the housing prices, because the people refinancing have great credit scores and they could do so and get good, better rates or pull cash. So that shows a strong movement in the housing prices. Now, if it was, he said that if the credit score were to be 600 and the group of people that refinance had a credit score of 600, then that's more worrisome, because these people are now, in paper they look more desperate because they don't have the funds to continue and they need the money now. Someone with 700 to 800 credit score, you could say they're pretty good. They could say that they have enough money to refinance because they're not worried, right? Their credit score reflects that in paper. But I do see that if that doesn't hold for all these, for the next interest rate refinance, where if they don't go lower and people refinance and the credit score does move lower to the 600 range, then that could be the beginning of a higher interest rate trend, because at that point most borrowers will be more aware, like, okay, people who are refinancing now have a 600 credit score, it's not so good and interest rates are going up, maybe we should just sell. But who knows? That's just,
it's all speculation.
It's in the bigger picture of things. But as of right now, I still see housing housing prices, especially the inventory, to be devoured as soon as it hits. If it's a good enough price, it's gonna get devoured. People are gonna buy it. I think the average home is on the market for 2 to 3 weeks and then it's sold. So
wow.
Hey, that tells you that there's buyers out there now. Is that because there's been easy money being printed? I mean, of course, right? But when does that die out? And are we in the edge of that? Are we at the end of that line where it's dying out and now it's time to save your cash or put it into great investments, so when the housing market does tank, that's your next opportunity to buy? I don't know when that'll happen, but I'm keeping an eye on that. So,
but yeah, because imagine I go and buy a $550,000 house and the market crashes the next day and now my house is worth $200,000. I mean, that's a gut punch. I think a lot of people would feel devastated with that.
Yeah.
But I think it's like with anything, right? I mean, it's gonna go up again. It has to. I mean, unless we get back to the 70s where houses were priced at $80 or $90,000.
Yeah, that's if we had a Paul Volcker. If we had a Paul Volcker and he, like Janet Yellen, She was the chair of the Federal Reserve. Now she's the Treasury Secretary. And so if she were to be like, okay, housing or just in general, inflation is going out of control. We've spoke with Chairman of the Federal Reserve, which is Jerome Powell, and we decided to allow rates to go higher for the federal fund rates. Oh my God, yes, everything will collapse in price. But they're not going to allow that to happen because so many people have greasy fingers and are getting their monies from the government or paying off government to get, special loans or, special just to get special treatment. They lobby to our Congress and our senators. So I do see that with the people we have in charge, like Yellen and Jerome Powell, we're not going to really grow or go far because higher interest rates shows an economy that will produce more, production. Lower interest rates really doesn't. And with these two people being very dovish and wanting to keep interest rates low and,
and are cool with a shit ton of printing.
Yeah, and are okay
money.
with that. I mean, we're going to see inflation just stay at a high level. And it's going to blow through the disinflationary pressures that people are trying to bring about, I think it's going to go blow right through it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the end goal is though. I really don't.
Exactly.
Other than making money. So.
And what's the little? Oh, they'll get over this scheme. $15 minimums. Like, come on, bro.
Shit.
Like, they think that $15 minimum is gonna put a band-aid over their money printing and their low interest rate fucking scheme they got going on.
Yeah.
And when it does keep people at bay, because people hear $15 an hour and they go crazy and it's fucked up. Like, no, that's not what you're worth. They $1,400 checks. They and it's sad to say because in the place that we are now, that a lot of people are okay with that, and they'll shut out the low interest rates, high printing. At that point, they don't care. They're surviving, and in their eyes, that's all right. But it's like I don't think a lot of people see what's gonna happen, what's coming. With all this fucking money printing, and quite frankly, I don't think obviously the government doesn't care because they have their own agenda. The rich is who they're gonna protect always, and that's where this channel comes about, right? The middle class. That's because who gets boned the most? The middle class. They can't tax the lower class. They got nothing to tax, and they're not gonna tax the 1% because they know how to avoid taxes.
Right.
And who's the people that get taxed? The middle class that works, earns the honest living. Not to say that rich people don't, but the people that you would think like, oh yeah, we're off. Nah, I mean you're getting taxed on every dollar you earned. So that's where they get the rug pulled under us. So yeah, and that's where the middle class dropouts comes, right? How can we avoid being that that punching bag for so long that we've been? So I mean, it's tough, bro. It's tough to say where all this is going or what they're trying to do. But yeah, I mean, in the foreseeable future, they're not gonna raise interest rates and they're gonna keep money printing. That's a fact. They came out and said that. So that's all we know for now. But it's tough, bro. Go Bitcoin.
And it's actually a good way to see where you could put your investments in, right? Because if you understand, all right, well, they're going to keep printing and interest rates are going to stay low. Well, Bitcoin looks pretty
enticing. Gold, especially like you said, if China's going to cut them off, bro. I mean, you're looking at these natural resources like a good money bag.
Oh hell yeah!
You know what I'm saying? Like then those prices are going to be scarce. And gold was surging last week. No. Was it surging last week or?
I think it did. Can you
pull that price up for us?
Let me see.
Really? Because I did hear that gold was doing pretty good.
Gold futures. Let's see what's gold doing. So it actually did, but it was a down day today. And today we had a testimony with the Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and Chairman of the Federal Reserve Jerome Powell. So gold really didn't move much, even with their dovish sentiment. But it's because they're talking about raising interest rates. And raising interest rates, the market doesn't, not raising interest rates, raising corporate taxes. Market doesn't want to hear that you're going to raise corporate taxes after diluting the shit out of the dollar. They want to hear that you're not going to do that. Yeah. You're going to create some tax cuts. But again, that's just a temporary, by the rumor, sell the news thing. But they're going to print the dollar. The Dow Jones right now dropped, I think, 300 points today. The S&P was down 30 points today. So the market really did not want to hear what the Federal Reserve and the chairman said, but neither did gold. Now, of course, the only way gold and the stock market will go higher is if the dollar index continues to go lower.
What is that, NXX I see there, bro?
Hey.
A little ticker right there, imagine.
So our dollar index today closed at 92.36. So with this being said, that means that the markets, really didn't have a good day.
Yeah.
They didn't like the sentiment.
A lot of red.
It was a lot of red, but it's fine. Again, we know the longer term is the dollar is weaker. Now, can the dollar continue to go higher in value? Maybe. That's not for sure, but maybe it could go 93. But I still believe the dollar will fall to another low of let me see, what was it? I think this was a low. The 89.44 level.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now we're at the 92.36 level, which is a few dollars higher. It will fall. You just got to be patient. You got to trust the process.
It's inevitable.
They're going to print, and then
they love printing that Fed.
God forbid they come out with the fucking Fed coin. Now, that's a dilution of our currency like you've never imagined. But by then, you'd be rich because you paid attention to us.
But then Jerome Powell said that he wasn't interested in making a digital.
He wasn't. No.
But then how you said, then that means he probably is, because he's saying the opposite.
Yes.
So he's working on some bullshit behind our back.
100%.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. That's crazy. They come out with their DigiDollar. I'm gonna stick to that name, bro. From now until they come out with their name, I'm gonna say it's the DigiDollar. They come out with their DigiDollar, bro. What does that mean for Bitcoin, bro? What do you think that means for all cryptocurrencies?
Personally, I think it's a dovish sign.
Look, it will be bullshit if they come out with it and it has no technology behind it.
Right.
Then it's a fucking scam.
Right.
If they come out and say, oh yeah, this is the DigiDollar, but then it don't have no blockchain. It doesn't run on the blockchain. It doesn't have any white paper, which I doubt they'll come out with it. And then it's a bullshit attempt to try to steal the money from the crypto space.
Very true.
I think that's what would happen. And so just because they come out with it, don't go and all throw all your money at it either. That's just my theory behind it. But
no, it makes sense. I mean, I would definitely.
All right, they come out like, oh, this new data. All right, what's the technology behind it? What does it do?
Yeah.
Like, how is it going to be different from the bullshit printing you're doing? Mm-hmm. How's it going to be different from everything else you've been doing? Right. Or you're still going to be able to print more coins? And no, it's the dollar digitalized. No, fuck you.
Yeah.
Keep your shit, Yeah.
You don't want it. They're going to track every move you make, although they already do that with your taxes and what you do, right? What you claim. But now they're going to be more embedded into your personal life. Yeah. So if you have, it's like like China's doing that credit score system where.
What are they doing?
So if you're a citizen in China and you go against the government or people are complaining about you, well, then you have a social credit score. And that depends, how well you do with your social credit score will depend on if you could get into a grocery store or into a private business, because they're going to want to know, how good of a person you are. That's bullshit.
How the fuck does that even get paid to that, bro?
Yeah, you go to any store, no one gives a fuck what you think or what you do or where you've been or what your past is. You're just going to the mall and you're going to go buy some shoes and you're going to go home. But with this social credit score, wait. What? Your social credit score is at 450? No, I'm sorry. You can't win the watch. You can't win the watch. Go home. Like, you can't just come in here. That's gonna be fucked up. Yeah, and if you're 750, it's like, let me give you someone to assist you because your credit score is 750, and that's pretty fucking good. Your social credit score, not this 450 cunt. This motherfucker's gonna rob my shit and probably win the watch. So it's just one of those things that you really have to be aware. If you're going to buy these government-backed cryptocurrencies, that they're going to start to implement Chinese, sentiment into it. So I wouldn't.
And you know what? And that's not to say, bro, that
I barely trust the dollar,
right? And that's not to say that it can't be. What if it is a good coin, bro? There's a certain supply, and it's not being fucking regular, which I doubt is gonna happen. But then, go for it. But they're not going to do that, bro.
No.
What does the Fed want? The Fed wants control.
Yes.
The Fed wants to control, bro. So they're going to do whatever in their power that if it is a hype, this cryptocurrency is a hype, they're going to want to tag along, but that's not going to be what they want you to be.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that I think entices a lot of people, bro, that about Bitcoin that nobody, Satoshi Nakamoto, nobody knows who he is. A lot of people can say, a lot of people can speculate, but really no, he hasn't came out and said, hey, not one person has came out and said, I created Bitcoin. Right? Dude went missing in 2009 when he had launched it, and the feds were going after him because of Mount Gox, right? Then he left. Maybe it was some dude in a basement, bro, that's a fucking filthy rich, because he kept a percentage of those. He kept a wallet that still to this day hasn't been sold or nothing like that. So he's filthy right now, and he still hasn't came out and said it. So who knows, bro? Maybe he died, bro. Right? I think, but then I think that's what attracts people to Bitcoin, because there's a certain amount of Bitcoin, 21 million. There's not going to be any more. You can't create more. You can fork it, Bitcoin Cash, but you can't create more Bitcoin. That's a set amount. So if you know that, then yeah, it's the rarity. It's like the NFT, non-fungible tokens. The NFT craze right now is that if you have a collectible.
Oh yeah. Continue. Sorry
about that.
No, you're good. No. I just wanted you to explain.
So yeah. So say you have
NFTs, people.
Yeah. So say I create this little design or something, and I go and I sell it, and say I make 500 copies of it. I can sell it online. You're never gonna have a hard copy, but you can have it on your computer and you own it, right? So then I can set my price. Say I want to sell each for 500,000. 500 people buy it, and then they resell it, and then that's the scarcity of that NFT. That's what it's called, the non-fungible, because you can't have it. And then a lot of these, that goes in segue to Ecomi. I wrote it up there because Ecomi, what they're doing is they're essentially creating, you know what, don't quote me on that, I don't know if it's Ecomi, but there's a coin that essentially is creating a living room on the internet that is going to allow you to hang your NFTs. So if I want to go see your NFTs, I'm going to go inside your living room and say, oh shit, you have Charizard and a Pokemon card. Shoot, that shit's worth this much. You know, they're creating that. But that's, I think with these gamers, that's the future, bro. That's what a lot of these dudes are going to go into, you know, creating and owning digital art. I think that's what's going to happen, bro.
Now, can I ask you, what's the difference between these NFTs and comparing it to like the housing market with the CDOs, synthetic CDOs, where there was like the subprime mortgage crisis, and they had these like loans, backed up loans by other loans mixed with other bullshit loans from, you know, corporate A to corporate B's and D's and nasty loans that they put together, and they just repackaged it and sold it to a buyer who didn't know shit that was in that loan other than
variable.
yeah, it was just all toxic. How would you compare the both? Like, what's the difference in that?
I don't think they're
NFTs are like, you know, like, oh, here's the Michael Jordan basketball card of 19 whatever, and it's signed, and now there's I have 100 NFTs. This Michael Jordan basketball is going for 800,000, and then everybody gets to buy an NFT for 100,000, right? Whatever. What's that? What's the difference there?
I think there is because the wallet addresses in the blockchain, I think you can tell if there's multiple, because basically it is like a token, right? It's basically there's a certain amount that gets created, so you'll know if there's a dupe on there. But I think in a way it is, I wouldn't say a bubble, but I mean dudes can set a price on whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah. Now, can you do an NFT of an NFT?
I don't think you can.
But what's stopping someone from doing that?
I think the source code. The
source
blockchain,
code. Okay.
Because same thing how you can't create another Bitcoin, you can mine them, and if somebody does create it and tries to hack it, it sets a red flag, and they have to verify. I think the same is with the. There is a technology behind the NFTs. I just think it's the craze of it, bro. The craze of it, which, like I said, I do want to invest into some NFT coins that are going to be the platform for where you can show off these NFTs. Right now, I just think it's the NFTs flying off the shelf.
Yeah, because I'm thinking there's going to be an NFT, right? And then they're also going to have several NFTs, and someone's going to be able to make that one stock option. Like, hey, look at my stock option. Now I have these NFTs. I'm trading under the ticker this and that. It's like a Tesla, right?
Yeah.
Tesla company actually loses money, but because it's a big hype, it's up in price. So same thing with these NFTs. If rich entrepreneur with hundreds of millions of dollars buys a fuck ton of NFTs from different places and then says, all right, I'm gonna buy this back. Hey, buy my stock, which is backed up by these NFTs. Like, you know what I mean? You see where this could go? Like,
yeah,
it could only help the markets, I think, and people are gonna find value wherever they find value. But I'm always thinking like, okay, is it going to get out of control, or is this the time to buy to get in and then get out eventually? Like,
For
not
sure.
hold these long term. Like, hold them maybe real quick and then dump them.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are calling the NFT craze a bubble. Like in 2020 when the DeFi came out, decentralized finance, smart contracts, where you're able to farm, where you're able to basically get a percentage on your money. All these smart contracts. That was the big craze of 2020, and that's what I would consider what the second generation of crypto. Now the third generation would be these NFTs. Now they're coming in hard, bro. Now remember that Earn Eternity token is worth $44, I believe, right now, and that's the biggest player in NFTs with their technology. I think they're creating a place where you can store them and do your thing with them. I think that's gonna be the next craze, as in this whole year, right? That's gonna be all about NFTs. And there's gonna be, I believe, the MLB might come out and say, hey, we have a Mookie Betts NFT limited edition, 100 of them. We're selling them for $50.
You said MLB?
Yeah, the Major League Baseball. So to say the player for the Dodgers, right?
Right.
Now they're gonna sell it because it costs. They just need the technology to build. They can use one of these companies. Hey, create me 50 of these. I want to sell them. Now the resale on those 500, bro, it's like gonna be back in the day when you were trading cards.
Oh, I see.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The resale on it, if you get your hands on one of those $50 Mookie Betts card, you take it to one of these exchanges and you set your price. Pay me $2 million. Dude, these people are crazy enough to do that.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's a scarcity, right? Hey, you're gonna go into this person's living room, like, and it's public, right? But you can't hack it, and you go into their living room, this digital living room, and you see a Mookie Betts, an Aaron Judge.
It's like how
it's gonna make you be like, holy fuck, this has a badass collection of art.
Yeah, I mean, people are selling a lot of stuff like Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, selling his first Twitter
tweet, bro.
His first tweet. How the fuck? I mean, where are we in this world
right?
now? Where
but it's a
motherfuckers
trend,
are selling
bro.
This? I know, but is it a? That's what I'm saying. Like,
and it is a bubble, right?
Yeah, that's why I don't want to touch it. Like, I want to touch it. We're allowing our viewers to understand this. You know, I'm trying to ask you questions and whatnot, but I'm trying to see. Okay, is it worth my time to look into it and speculate a little bit into some of these NFTs that are just taking off, not the $44 one, but are there some in its space that are less than that?
Yeah,
I'm sure they are.
Like Economy, I think it's worth less than less than a penny. I think it's 0.0002.
Ooh.
It's a steal, bro. But I think how you are is how I was early when I was researching these. I think we're at the point that if somebody 10 years ago was looking at Bitcoin, like, I'm not gonna touch that. That's speculation. It's not gonna work. I think we're in that phase right now.
So NFT is not nipples fucking titties, right?
It's not nipple. It would be nice, but yeah, I think it would be good to, like I said, if you're not interested in the trading, get into the technology.
Okay.
Right. Get into the space where you can invest in the space where these things are being traded, where these things can be held. Right. You don't necessarily have to go and buy an NFT.
Buy the company that has
invest in the platform that's allowing that
ladies and gentlemen,
to thrive, right? Invest in those, I think, and that's where the Eternity, Economy, these are going to be big players in the sense of Cardano's the technology. ADA is the coin that lives on it.
Yes.
A lot of these, like Ethereum is the technology. A lot of these ERC20 tokens are what lives on that, right? So if you don't believe in those coins, you can still invest in the technology being Ethereum.
There you go. That's what. So the Cardano, let's go to Cardano a little bit, because now that you brought that up, you're saying that ADA is a token of Cardano?
Yeah, it's the.
So if you want to buy the company Cardano, where do you buy the company?
Well, it would be technically.
It'd be ADA, right?
Unless Cardano comes out with their stock, an IPO, then that would be investing in the company.
Yeah.
But essentially, in the crypto world, you are investing in the company, buying through.
Full disclosure, we're investing
ADA.
in Cardano. So,
yeah, full disclosure, we love Cardano. But yeah, I think that's what this NFT craze is, bro. I think you don't necessarily have to love the idea of, because it's stupid, right? I mean,
well, it's not stupid.
It's not stupid, but to me, it's like, fuck, like people legit are buying these tweets off the shelf, are buying these art. People create art and they sell them as NFTs. And now you can be one of the only few to have a wallpaper of that person that sold the NFT to you, and now it's worth millions. And you bought it for $1,000.
Wow.
That's where that craze comes from. That scarcity of, because everything, like I said, the future, bro, everything's gonna be digitalized, right?
Right.
The money's already being digital. Bitcoin. I think now these NFTs allow you to hold collectibles without having to hold collectibles.
Right.
Right. And I think that's where that technology gets. My bad, bro, you're
No,
pointing it on you.
No, you're
I
good.
think that's where that technology can be powerful, because if the wave is moving that way, then why not try to catch that trend of the technology that's backing up these NFTs? And who knows, bro? Maybe if they do come out with some, I'm not, like I said, I'm not an expert on it anyway. I probably found this out maybe 3 weeks ago.
Then it makes you an expert. What are you talking about?
You know, but like I said, the technology, I get the general picture of what's going on. People creating their NFTs and stuff. I think, yeah, I mean, it's crazy, bro. It really is. You hear these people selling things for $1 million, 16 million, and there's people that are buying them.
Right.
So that, to me, how I always say about Bitcoin, if there's a $1 trillion market cap, it's obviously working.
Well, it's the free market, right? This is what the free market is doing.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, you want new innovations like this to take place because you're only going to learn by the shitty ones compared to the good ones. And I think it's a great opportunity for those who want to get into this space. So now, you know, if we're making it sound interesting, then look into it. You know, if we're not making it sound interesting, go ahead and comment on the comments below and tell us, you know, how we can make it more interesting. But I mean, personally, I would just rather our viewers do their due diligence and go and research this on your own and try to figure it out first on your own before you ask somebody else, right? Because then you have some form of conviction in what you learned, and then have someone, you know, that also is involved with it poke holes in what you think is correct. Because you're only going to learn, okay, maybe I was wrong about this NFT or wrong about the company that has people storing their NFTs in here. Maybe I need to look at this other company that can actually provide much better service and own their company instead of just, you know, owning this. You know, there's so many avenues you could go through.
But wouldn't it make sense, bro? Like in the NFT scenario, if you do have all these collectibles, how are you gonna show them off? Right. Then become these little technology companies. Hey, bro, we'll create this place
where you can see your NFTs.
Where you can give them this address, they'll look and they'll see your collection.
They can't keep it.
Right. No, yeah, they can't hack it. It's based off the blockchain. If they try to reproduce it, it's gonna throw a red flag.
Very
right.
true.
And that's gonna give you, say, a serial number with 1 out of 50 and you own 47. 100%. Right. I think that it's smart, bro. They're giving it a platform and they're giving it a horse to be ridden on. And I think what I'm trying to get to is it's early enough to maybe a year down the line, the people that aren't really familiar, they're gonna be like, holy fuck, dude, there was this NFT craze, right? And look where it's at now. The same thing with like I said, Eternity, bro. I mean, I got Ethereum when it was at $50, a lot of coins weren't being built on it. Now it's at 1,700, and that's because it has a big ass network of these coins being built on it. I think it's the same thing with that. So I even think, like I said, not financial advisors, Eternity is a buy at $44.
Wow.
Because it is the leader in that NFT space, and it's still at a buyable price.
Wow.
You know?
You guys hear that? And what is it called? Eternity?
Eternity, yeah. You can pull it up. You can pull it up on, it's the ticker on...
Here, I'll pass it to you.
Yeah, the ticker on CoinMarketCap, I believe, is ERN. But yeah, let me pull it up real quick.
Man, it's hilarious how just a year ago Bitcoin was at 10,000. Now it's at 50,000, and it's because it was one of its kind. And so Eternity is one of its kind. It's at $44, and NFT's taking off.
It's actually 41.
41 motherfucking dollars.
You have Eternity Chain right here, right? So if you look at what it says, the live Eternity Chain price today is, okay, hold on. Let's see. So, okay, Eternity Chain is a community-oriented platform that produces limited edition authenticated NFTs and trading cards created by your favorite artist and endorsed by notable
figures.
Yeah, I can't even say that word. So basically, if I'm famous, I'll reach out to Eternity and be like, hey, create me this thing, limited amount, that's who you would go to. Built on the Ethereum network, it aims to build the biggest NFT library reward to its creators and raise funds for charitable causes forever. Its unique DeFi application allows earned token holders to farm rare NFTs and vote on proposals that will amend the Eternity Chain ecosystem. So
Cool.
in itself, it's telling you, hey, these dudes are a big player. They're probably the leading ones, right? And it's a steal, bro. Market cap, you're sitting at 181 million dollars.
Yeah, market cap.
I mean, that's baby market cap.
I mean, yeah, compared
You know what
to
I'm
the bigger
saying?
picture, yeah,
Exactly.
for
Like
sure.
Ethereum in itself has it's in the billions. So this in itself, I'm telling you, it's a steal, especially because it's gonna be one of the main NFT players. And then you have Omi. I like Omi. Watch, we'll read a little bit on what Omi's doing. See,
Oh
like,
my God, that's less than a cent.
less than a cent. You can see here, right? Craze, bro. NFT craze
gosh.
rolls around,
Oh my gosh.
and
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
this is what, in a month.
Oh my
Let's
gosh.
see what. And this all started February 18th of this year.
Oh my God.
Super cheap, bro. I
Yeah.
mean, you would have. And this in itself, market cap. Oh, see, this has 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
So this is a big dog already.
Right.
This has a good enough market cap. Total circulating supply, it's quite a bit.
Yeah.
750 billion.
Would have to look into the company, see if they're burning supplies or if they're
Mhm.
doing, some kind of.
So let's read a little. Economy claims to create the world's best platform to purchase, protect, and collect premium licensed digital collectibles using distributing ledger technology. I mean, that in itself should tell you something. They're to create the world's best,
and
right?
you have to
They're trying
look
be one
into
of a
this
kind.
company. Hell yeah. Just because it says that doesn't mean you, as our listeners, are just going to take it for my
Yeah,
word.
yeah,
Now
don't
look
take
into this company, check out what they're all about, see if they're in debt or if they're not in debt, and try to see if their security system is up to date, and if it is, how well does it secure your property?
See, and it's gonna get listed on Uniswap in 7 days. Right now, this token you either have to have a VPN
Mm-hmm.
to buy it because it's not allowed to be bought here.
Mhm.
But once it hits Uniswap, free game, right? But the price is gonna surge at that point because Uniswap is not that hard to access. But basically, it has its app. It's called Vivi, and that's where you would go. You would essentially either through the economy token, you would buy economy, and then you would be able to buy these NFTs with the economy. I'm sure they're gonna. I'm sure they accept other cryptos like Ethereum and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then you would be able to put bids on them. You'd be able to have your library. You'd be able to show it off. And this is what they are, bro. They're literally cards of anything. Yeah, this is it, bro. This is what they're creating. Secure wallet, so you can have your economy on there. Pretty crazy, bro.
Pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive in the point that it's less than a penny right now.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Like this
Very
space,
true.
this NFT space, you're catching it early. So if it's something you're interested in, definitely do your own research, look into it. I would recommend it in the sense that if you're not interested in the actual NFTs, look at the players behind it that are trying to create these technologies so the NFTs can live in. That's something that, like I said, full disclosure, I'm gonna try to get economy. Probably won't do it until it's launched on Uniswap, just because I don't want to go through the trouble of getting it through how it's able right now.
Right.
And I mean, I doubt it's gonna search. I'm not gonna say I doubt it, but I think we'll still be able to get it under a penny once it
for
hits
sure.
Uniswap. And Eternity too, bro. I think I'm gonna try to get some Eternity just because, like I said, where that's heading. Not financial advisor, so don't take my word for it. If you're gonna do it, do your own research. But yeah, bro.
I think that was great. I think we said enough for today.
Yep.
Sorry we
definitely.
didn't do our podcast last week. If you were
Yeah.
trying to tune in, we had some technical difficulties trying to get a third guest in here.
We had him in here. We shot it.
We shot it. We
With his
actually did
mic.
two.
Yeah.
One we didn't record, and one we did record and we didn't put up. But
Yeah.
we're gonna do much better than that.
Yeah. You would have been able to hear me and Jonathan, but the third guest, you were able to see him, but you could hear him very faint. Not how you're able to. Basically, it was like our first two shows. That's how his voice was. You could
It
hardly
was.
hear us, but worse.
Yeah.
So we're gonna definitely lock tits on that, and then we're gonna, for the future, we're gonna be looking into getting into reading graphs.
Mm-hmm.
So then when we do launch a little, I don't know if we're gonna do a Telegram or Patreon, the ones that do subscribe, they're gonna get ahead first on how we look at these graphs once we learn it, right?
But we're gonna put it out here, tease it out on our show here,
exactly.
Talk about it here, and then once we get
fully
the ball
rolling,
once we get the ball rolling with it, then if you really want to see more insider trading, not insider trading, but our insider trading, what we do as
full disclosure, you're gonna see what we're trading on. I'm thinking we're gonna create a profile for us for the podcast,
right? Okay.
And we're gonna try to grow it.
Mm-hmm.
We can do a crypto one, and we can do one on E-Trade.
Yeah,
and we'll see, how they compare, and what we're looking at that week and what we're going to try to invest in.
Yeah, I'm going to move to interactive brokers. And interactive brokers give you a much wider range of companies and stocks you could buy on other countries' stock exchange. Yes, so
you can get that app, or it's still computer?
It's both. So I'm just going to go through that.
Yeah, sounds good. So that's definitely the future where this channel's going. Like sometimes we talk about just random shit, and sometimes we go heavy on. I think today was a good day to go heavy on this because it was a lot that we missed the last week.
Yeah.
And then I had my surgery, so obviously that kind of got in the way. But we're gonna try to get you guys the content you guys deserve, and thank you guys for listening. It's a good show. Alrighty, guys.
Peace.
You guys be safe.
Motherfucker.